Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you again.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Shannon Keegren with Boise State Softball. Summer in Idaho is the best time of year. Rodeos, camping trips, and the hikes that end in views you'll never forget. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're here to get you there. With a team known for incredible customer service, the best new and pre-owned inventory, and a commitment to making your experience easy, friendly, and fast. But here's the best part. Every purchase here helps support Boise State athletics through their NIL partnerships and athletic sponsorships. See you soon at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RopePaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
It is Wednesday, and yes, we're off to a nice start. BJ Rains from the Sun Cruiser Studios, another edition of Bronco Nation News Live, Wednesday, May 6th. Mike Prater celebrating Cinco de Mayo early into the morning, probably tough waking up this morning, but no, in all seriousness, Mike, appreciate you. A Wednesday, a rare Wednesday. I didn't even know it was Cinco de Mayo yesterday, by the way. Somebody said, how you celebrating? I guess when you get to be 40 like I am, it's on a work week. There's no margaritos and tacos for me yesterday. I missed out, Prater, but appreciate Mike Prater for switching to a Wednesday. I know that was a big treat when the show started and everyone saw it was Prater today. And appreciate you, Mike. How we doing?
Doing good, BJ. How you doing today? Looking forward to it.
I know you've enjoyed a sip of tequila at some point in your life. Are you a big Cinco de Mayo guy or?
No. Cinco de Mayo is for Americans who have no idea what the holiday's about. So
all right.
I don't do a lot of drinking during the week. So I'm kind of like you. We did a whole bunch of stuff on the show yesterday. We had a very curiosity that why doesn't Mexico produce more elite household names when it comes to athletes? But we stopped right there and left the drinking to the professionals.
All right, I like you even more, Prater. That was a fun college thing to have an excuse to go drinking in college. But
did you need an excuse to drink in college?
If you get a Tuesday night, maybe I'm sure folks last night. I think this is finals week though for Boise State, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like it keeps getting earlier and earlier with school getting out. I think commencement's on Saturday, right, or this weekend.
I believe it is this weekend. That is correct.
So maybe not too much of that going on down at Boise State. They were in the library studying, but Prater,
yeah.
On a Wednesday, you for joining us. Appreciate everybody for watching. This is Bronco Nation News Live. We do it each and every weekday here at 9 a.m. Bronco Nation News and YouTube and all the various channels on KTIK, on Bronco Nation News today as well. We're enjoying our partnership with the KTIK crew. We're also streaming on their YouTube channel. Make sure you're following KTIK on YouTube, on X, on Facebook as well. So if you're watching us on the BNN channels, give Prater and company, they do at least one kind of video daily segment every show, and you get a chance to see Johnny and Prater in all their glory every weekday 3 to 6. Hopefully, if you're watching on the KTIK channels, you follow us as well on BNN and vice versa. It is a Wednesday, Mike. We are kind of doing a week-long. We took a week off, and then now we're kind of doing one kind of final what we learned during spring ball this week. A different story popping up at BNN every day this week. 5 down to 1. We're at number 3 today, and that's talking about the passing game. We're going to get to that. I do want to get your take on the two previous ones, which I know we've talked a lot, Matt Wagner, it seems like, on various shows the last couple of weeks, and then the tackling as well. There was a little basketball news today that I did want to at least mention off the top. Kaur Tomann, I don't know how, I'm sure I'm butchering his first name. I apologize for that to him. It's Kaur. How would you think that would be pronounced, Prater?
Kaur, Kyrie?
Kaur.
Yeah.
Mr. Tomann, I believe, committing to
there you go.
To Boise State basketball. And it sounds like this may be, Prater, a longer term. He is coming off an Achilles tear, and he's also a high school kid. So I know I was told by some folks that we know that were previous coaches here, or have connections here, that a lot of Tyson Degenhart in his game, a lot to like in his game, but maybe not necessarily we're going to see that from day one. And so they still have one more spot to go. They're trying to get that impact guard. We had Mike Burns on the show yesterday, and he alluded to that there was going to be this kind of signing coming, but still one more impact for next year's team. But Estonian forward, 6'9", Kaur Tomann, had put up some big numbers in the EuroLeague. And I'll tell you what, Prater, I saw San Diego State. They've gotten a couple Europeans. That's the kind of thing to do these days. But I'd be lying if I said I knew anything about the league he played in, the numbers he put up, how that translates. I know that's a way to save a little money on NIL and rev share. And Boise State has, whether it's some Australians or whether it's some of these other guys, Aaron's from Canada and NATO and some of these guys, like they've had some success with these international players, but the big craze nowadays is these Europeans. I have no idea how it all translates, but if you read folks that do know, they like it as a down-the-line project for Boise State, a 6'9" forward from Estonia coming on board.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that, I didn't think, this is not an impact guy. And, I mean, an 18-year-old international kid, sometimes those do take a little bit of transitions. I didn't know about the Achilles, so that's good information on your part. So it sounds like this might be a project down the road. And, when you fill out a roster of 15 players, you certainly are going to get 5 or 15 superstars. There's all kinds of stages of development, and it sounds like he might not be that one. And as I'm keeping track of this roster, I had 2 open spots left, and heard your interview yesterday with Burns, and threw down that guard TBD and an open spot TBD. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot to decipher and a lot to learn, mostly about this new Boise State basketball roster. And I would assume once Leon Rice comes up from out of his head underground and cranking and grinding and doing what he's been doing behind the scenes, you'll get him on your show. We'll get him on our show. We'll kind of talk about this thing as a whole. And I'm just curious about the dog factor. And an 18-year-old kid from Estonia with Achilles probably doesn't fit the dog factor, but looks like there might be a couple of other dogs on this roster, newcomers coming on board. So cannot wait to learn who some of these guys are, and we'll see how it is. Collectively, the roster doesn't look that great. They got a whole bunch of 6'9" guys. That's kind of good, I guess. I don't know. But we have a lot to learn about this basketball team.
Yeah, no doubt. And he did come over, just a little background on him briefly. He did come over for his senior year of high school in the United States over in the Northeast. And he suffered that injury in December. I saw Zach Mason on Twitter. He's a very big scout when it comes to the European prospects and things like that. He tweeted this morning that he is about as smooth as a wing as you will find. Really great get for Boise, talented scorer. Had he played a full season at Luhi, which I guess was his prep school or high school, he would have attracted a lot more attention. And then he said, love the effort Boise, especially Mike Burns, is putting into the overseas recruiting. So different ways you can do it. And obviously there's a lot of pressure, Mike, on this year's team and wanting to win now and the hot seat with, the pressure building and all that. But you can't technically as a coach only think about that. There is you have to think at times about the bigger process here. And who knows, it was in December. There's some talk he could be ready for this season. I was told if he's healthy, he's good enough to play right away, but who knows how they fit this. But again, did come over for his senior year of high school. And I told you this, maybe I'm wrong, but I always look at other schools that were recruiting him. Like it kind of gives me an idea, I know there's diamonds in the rough. That's not a foolproof way to say it, but are you beating out Power 5 schools or are you beating out, lower WAC schools, guys like this? And he picked Boise State over Nebraska and Providence. So two power schools that were in the mix for him. So again, this season, especially early in the season, probably not going to make a huge impact, but there is some folks that know way more about this than me that find it as an intriguing get, and we'll see. But like we talked about this, I think last week, Mike, there's 4 or 5 newcomers. They've all got decent stats somewhere else. How they fit at this level, how it all mixes together, we have no idea. This team could be terrible. This team could all be great and surprise, and we'll see what the guard is. My understanding is there might even be a guard on campus today, Mike Prater, so we could get visit happening, maybe some news in the next couple of days on that. And if you hear Duryea and Burns talk in our interviews last couple of weeks, they're still trying to find a starter, an impact-type player, and maybe that a little bit changes the feeling right now, but a lot of it's a lot of unknowns from guys coming from lower levels and then guys that you're banking on making big improvements from last year's team. And it's not, you heard Burns yesterday. It really does sound like this team is going to be, how much better is Pearson Carmichael? How much better is Spencer Aarons? How much better is AG NATO? Some of these guys, like, you can get all the guys you want. And we've talked about this, but it really does come down for me to the improvement you're going to get from these newcomers to decide if this is a upper third, middle third, or bottom third Pac-12 team.
100%. And we won't know the answer to that till probably Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, that kind of thing. So this is going to have to play out. We're not going to learn about this team because there's so many new faces and so many new variables. We're not going to really learn about them until they get on the court and get out there and actually start playing some games. And even that alone will be a process. So yeah, you're right. I think the key word here is, and it's not a negative, guys. It's kind of fun. The key word here is there's a lot of unknowns with this roster, and we get a chance to learn about these players. We get a chance to learn about this team and this roster. We also, I mean, for me, I'm also very curious about what's going to happen with the coaching staff. Technically, they have 2 openings on the assistants coaching staff. Is Kobe Carl coming back? Or is he going to get elevated? Is AJ Few sticking with his position? Could you put Kobe Carl and AJ Few into those 2 spots? Can you fill it? How are you going to fill the rest of your coaching staff? Will one day Leon Rice ever bring back Max Rice and put him on his coaching staff? I've always thought that was kind of a possibility.
You run our message boards, you'd think that, I don't know if you're just randomly bringing that up or not, but there's certainly some smoke with that one.
There's 100% smoke with that one. I didn't randomly bring that up. I don't randomly bring up a lot of different things. So there's a lot of smoke with that one, and certainly something that we're keeping an eye on. And my one biggest issue is Leon Rice and his lack of self-awareness. I've always said self-awareness is your most important trait in life, and if you have it, you're going to be successful. If you don't, good luck. And I think Leon struggles with the self-awareness thing. So that wouldn't be a good look optically. I don't know if Max would be a great coach or not. I don't know what he's going to do with those rest of those coaching staffs. I'm looking for the optics there as well. I'm looking for the optics with this roster. And so far, it's not great in terms of the optics of this roster. But again, we could learn. The one thing we haven't figured out is the dog mentality, and I cannot wait to see. So there are so many different things. It's very curious this offseason with this basketball team right now.
And I 100% agree with you. I can just guess it would be overwhelmingly negative if Max Rice is announced as a possible just from a PR standpoint, whatever. But to counter it, all I'll say is go look at what Lexus Williams was doing when Boise State hired him. He wasn't even in basketball. He was working at a insurance company or something. I forget what it was, or in finance or something. He wasn't even coaching. He had no basketball coaching background when they brought him in for a lower level position. So it's not like Max Rice would be placing Tim Duryea. It would be replacing Mike Burns or Tim Duryea as the lead assistant coach. It's a fourth or fifth. And I'm not trying to take away from Lexus Williams. That's a big loss. He did a lot of great things, but he was on the pecking order, the fourth or fifth assistant coach. The salary resembled as that, and you're not going to get, maybe Kobe Carl, something like that, a promotion, but you're not getting a super qualified guy to come in as the fourth or fifth assistant coach. So I'm not saying it's a good move. I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm just saying if you really dive into it, it's not quite as crazy as, and not all that similar, other than the last name, the nepotism, all that stuff, which would certainly be a big story.
Yeah, but man, you're looking at it from a basketball standpoint, and the timing of that right now would be horrible. It would be, and I don't want to criticize Leon because I think nor do I want to criticize Max. Love them both, and I would put those guys on my foxhole 7 days a week. There's no doubt about that. And Max may end up being a great coach. He's always wanted to coach. He's always dreamed of starting as a GA with Tommy Lloyd and working his way up and building his own program.
What should happen?
Yes, exactly. The optics of, especially right now, because regardless of what you say or regardless of what other fans say, this basketball program is more vulnerable right now than it ever has been. Mm-hmm. And the optics of bringing in Max Rice, who really, for his first 2 years as a player, not good. And in terms of just the relationship that he built with the fan base. After that, I think a lot of us started to appreciate Max Rice and what he meant. And when he left, I missed the hell out of him and the intangibles and what he brought to this basketball roster, and just a great dude and so many different positive things. But the optics of bringing in Max Rice with the timing right now, it would be horrible. It would be absolutely horrible. And 99% of the fan base would say, what the hell is Leon doing? This looks horrible. This looks bad. And I'm afraid that Leon, if he gets the opportunity to do it, would do it, because he doesn't have a lot of that self-awareness, and that kind of bothers me. But it'll be a fun story to cover, and it'd be cool to get Max back into the Boise State basketball family. But hey, those are check boxes. Those are boxes that we'll have to check down the road.
Well, if he could have brought a center with him from his team in Australia or something, maybe it would have looked a little to play on the team. Maybe it would look a little differently to fans. I don't know. I agree with you. That'll be a story for if it happens, but there is certainly some smoke there. And, when you're talking how much money you have for that spot, when you're talking, there are a lot of factors that go into this, like I said, but I think if he was coming from 2 years of, Gonzaga or 2 years at Arizona, not straight from the court as a player into this, I think it might look a little differently. And I'm not here to say
or if this basketball program is in better situation.
Yeah. No doubt. Like I said, and I'm not saying it's not going to work out or it is going to work out. Like I said, I don't know about that part of it. I don't know all the 100% duties of what that position, that coach actually does. But just on the surface, like you said, optics wise, image wise, it probably wouldn't be a good look. So we'll see.
It'd be a horrible look, and it would be a horrible look, and it would be a consensus feeling too. And that's the sad part.
And that's been the I would say the consensus on the message board so far as well. When somebody brought that up, that they had heard that was a possibility, it's been unfortunately overwhelmingly negative. And I don't know if Leon either knows that or cares about that, or I guess neither one really matters to him.
No, that's what I said. The self-awareness thing. I don't think he knows, and I don't think he cares. I really truly don't. And in some ways that's very admirable, and in some ways that's kind of alarming. But that's Leon Rice in a nutshell. We love him. Warts and all. He's a big fan of him as a person, mostly a fan of him as a coach. Cannot wait to see what he does with this roster. But yeah, there's definitely some issues there.
Yep. Apparently I'm in the 1%. CDZ Sports says I'm fine with Max starting his coaching in Boise. Somebody else said they're part of the 1% too. We'll see. That hasn't happened yet. If it does, that gives us another story to fill there down the line. But it's a big year for this basketball program, Mike. We've talked about it going into the 12 and the reseeding, and they essentially gave the coaches a do-over on the roster, and basically, based on the look of it, they said, okay, we'll say that the players were the problem last year, and we're going to give you a chance. So we're going to raise your budget, and this year, they haven't come out and said this publicly, but it would certainly look like, okay, we're giving you a chance to fix this, and if it doesn't happen this year, I mean, there's going to certainly be more changes potentially. So it is I hate to use the word hot seat but I mean, there certainly is a little raised pressure, I would say, for a successful season here.
Yeah, raised pressure from the fan base. I don't think there's anything that's not true. I think there's probably a little bit of pressure from the administration in terms of what Jeremiah and Cody and what they want to do with this program. Obviously, the extra mile arena seating chart, the Pac-12, the all that kind of stuff. There is extra pressure for the first time for the administration. There's no doubt about that. But I think at this point it's pretty soft pressure. But we'll see how the season plays out.
I would agree. I do think the administration has a higher confidence feeling about the coaching staff than a lot of the fans do. And we've kind of noticed that with how things went after the season. Boise won 20 games last year. Yes, they underperformed, but definitely not in the worst spot they have ever been in. When you are coming off a 20-win season, I guess it could be worse, but we'll see. Again, newest edition today. Boise State has not announced it. We do have a full story up on BNN if you want to go read that. You can read about it, all his stats and what it means. And again, Nebraska and Providence, the other two going for this kid. Like you said, once Leon talks, we'll kind of see if the plan is to sit him this year, to maybe get him back mid-year. I don't know. We'll see. As you said, a lot of 6'9" guys right now. They went from all the 6'7" guys to all the 6'9" guys now, but we'll see. And still one spot left, and that could change maybe some folks' feeling. We'll see if they go get some impact player. Who knows? But again, a lot of pieces that have to fit. I'll tell you what, if they ever do that in the summer where they let us come watch, sometimes in the summer they'll say, hey, we're going to let you come watch, practice or whatever. It might be, a year to kind of go see what all these new guys look like early in the season with some, if they ever have any open practices. But a lot to go, a lot to do, a lot to figure out with that last spot, and then we'll kind of see what it looks like. But as we sit here on May 6th, Mike, football season, they are in a break right now, getting some time off. They'll be back here in a couple of weeks to get going with the summer workouts, and we're stretching spring ball coverage as long as we can here to fill some shows. And we've got some final takeaways, thoughts that are kind of lingering as we get ready to head into the summer. And we want to discuss a couple of those with Mike here in just a minute on Bronco Nation News. Do want to thank a couple of our great sponsors. That includes our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. And again, they're here to get you there this spring with our employee pricing. The event's going on now through July 6th. If you've been waiting for the perfect opportunity to become a Ford owner, now is the time. You can come check out their incredible selection of eligible Ford vehicles today. Some exclusions apply. See dealer for details. And again, the full inventory of vehicles is available online at lithiafordboise.com. Sun Cruiser, the blueberry lemonade, strawberry lemonade, perfect golfing beverage. If you like iced tea, they're half and half. Their tea flavors, tremendous as well, peach, raspberry. So head to a local gas station or grocery store, pick up a Sun Cruiser today. Idaho Central Credit. You didn't mention Pearson Carmichael, one of the returners, is going to have to up his game this year for this team. He's with ICCU, and you can be as well. ICCU.com. Easiest mobile online e-branch banking that I've ever experienced, and I liked my previous bank, didn't realize what I was missing until I made the switch to ICCU. Get more information, ICCU.com, and check them out today. Roaring Springs, we heard the stories of Mike Prater and family going to Roaring Springs last week. You can save up to $32 on Roaring Springs tickets when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products at Roaring Springs. You have to buy them at Jackson's. They're good for Roaring Springs. Excuse me. Extra Mile by Jackson's as well. $32 off Roaring Springs tickets from our friends at Jackson's. Hey, Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com, the Estonian Management Group, the Nicolason family, TacoBellWorks.com. You can get more information on their long history of owning and operating Taco Bell locations in the Northwest. And whether it's the crispy chicken cantina taco, the menu is changing daily. So many great, delicious options. And we encourage you to hit up our friends at Taco Bell. And don't forget, I actually will bring this up right now because I was going to here in a second, but the 40th anniversary of the Blue Turf And you can get these customized jackets, the Blue Turf jackets at the Blue and Orange store, the blueandorangestore.com. You can get those. You can get those at the blueandorangestore.com. All the various merchandise going on with the Blue Turf. And again, the Blue and Orange store online, blueandorangestore.com. You can order anywhere in the world, or the 2 locations in Boise, including the all-new location at the Boise State Hall of Fame. Mike, I know they had an auction, and I read the story in the Athletic. Chris Vanini pushed it on, and I think it was Larry Holder that actually wrote the article about Boise State kind of changing the game with the selling of the Blue Turf. I'm not sure if you had a chance to check that out or not, but Collect BSU. Boise State's talked a lot about that. The company they hired to kind of help with some of their memorabilia and some of the things. And they're selling as little as and everybody knows this part, they're selling as little as a 6-inch by 4-inch piece for $40, or it goes all the way up. And they had I guess some sort of auction, but a 400-foot square foot sheet of the turf sold for $25,000 via an auction last night. It was a 400 square foot piece that's going to go in somebody's house. Another 6 by 12 foot 40-yard line marker signifying the 40th anniversary of the turf sold for $4,000, while a 6 by 4 foot number 2 in the 20-yard line also sold for $2,000. Now, those pieces are obviously still on the field. They have not removed the turf yet, but they're already, thinking of areas and ways to do that. As I said, if you want a regular piece, it goes all the way down to $40 for a 6 by 4-inch swatch. $300 are selling those rings that have part of the turf in it. But what do you make of somebody ponying up $25,000 to get their living room covered in blue turf, Mike Prater?
I love it. I think it's fantastic. And I saw this story last night, and it's pretty spectacular. I went out last night and booked Jay Sharman. He's the CEO of that collectible company, and he's going to join us on the show today. We've had him on the show a couple of different times, and I think it's pretty cool. My one big question, though, is inflation. Okay, so last time there was a blue turf, what was it, like 7 years ago or whatever it was? I can't remember. It seems like they replaced it. I actually went out and bought my own chunk of blue turf that I keep here in the office. It is a foot by a foot. It is 12 inches by 12 inches, and it cost me $40. So now $40 is going to get me a 6 by 4 inches. That's the cost of inflation, which I understand, and I'm just kind of having some fun. I think it's really, really cool. The blue turf stuff and the blue turf stories all over the place. As a guy who's got a artificial turf backyard, that I turned my entire backyard into a golf course. I'm not talking about just like one little patch. The entire backyard is artificial turf and a golf course. And if somebody went out and did that with the blue turf and dropped $25,000, that $25,000, by the way, includes installation in your backyard too. So it's an entire project. Fantastic idea. I want to meet this dude or gal or family or whoever's doing it. And we're going to have a lot of fun today on our show talking about people and their unique, crazy stories of how they've collected the blue turf, whether they have it hanging in their man cave, whether they have it sitting in their office all the time. So the blue turf is a story that keeps on telling itself, and here's just another chapter. $25,000 for a chunk of blue turf. I love it.
And I don't think I've ever shown this or said this, Mike Prater, but people always get on me when I say I'm not a quote unquote fan of Boise State because I'm not from the state of Idaho, never been here. But the last time they sold that turf, my mother-in-law bought one of those big pieces and cut it into 4, and I've got a memorabilia section in my house. And I've actually got a small piece myself here that
there you go.
It's one of the very few, if only, Boise State logos, colors, things you'll find in my entire house. But I do have a smaller piece than you have of the blue turf, and it is right next to, Mike Prater, a piece of the old Busch Stadium AstroTurf. This was this authentic Busch Stadium AstroTurf, part of the baseball Cardinal legacy, played on from 1978 to 1983, including 4 games in the 1982 World Series. Right here on my
I love it.
AstroTurf at Busch Stadium. So I felt I couldn't have this by itself, but if I put them next to each other and display them,
that looks good. All right. That looks fantastic. I love that. The green versus the blue. That looks fantastic. That's a cool story, man.
Yeah, they've got the little now I know Boise State now, aren't they? I think the ones they're selling now are or you can buy it in like a professional framed case and all that kind of stuff. Mine's just literally just hanging around here like yours is. But
exactly.
And I remember when they sold that, and I think this is the exact same piece. It's just cut into 4. It's even smaller than that is. And I remember thinking the whole time, I know they took out the rubber and all that, but you're like, man, this isn't that isn't that thick here, but
no, it's not.
If
It's not.
they can make some money off it, what do we think it costs? I know you mentioned inflation, the cost changing the price, like 1.5, 1, something like that in terms of the cost. So if they can get even $100,000 of that back on selling the turf or something, I mean, that's another way to get some of that money back. But $25,000. That's if you are a diehard Boise State fan, that's pretty cool. Surf City Bill saying the $25,000 had to have been by ball game. Hey, if you got the money and you can spend it and you're a big fan, I think that, like, one thing I don't have that I always wanted to get was one of the old, like, bleacher seats from Busch Stadium when they were tearing the stadium down. And back then I just was a high school, college kid, and I've seen them occasionally on eBay and didn't have room for it or a spot for it. And, like, I've always thought that'd be kind of cool, your favorite stadium, to have the old, like, chair back bleachers or seats or whatever. But certainly any kind of turf and the iconic blue turf, and if they can make some money off it, I think it's pretty cool.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Very, very cool. So, yeah, I don't think it was ball game dropping $25,000. First of all, he doesn't have that kind of money, and he's not that big of a fan. So it's definitely not ball game dropping $25,000. He'd be more inclined to drop $25,000 for a chunk of the Kibbe Dome, but we won't say that too out loud.
Do they pressure wash the turf before the sale? #fluids.
I hope not. I want the whole gooey thing, man. I mean, I'm not eating dinner off of it. I'm not sleeping on it. I don't turn it into a pillow. If that thing's been pressure washed, which probably has, I'd be a little bit bummed. I want the sweat, the blood, the tears. I want the goo. I want everything on here, man. So let's hope that it's like those, auctions when you get a hockey player's jersey right off his back.
Yeah.
Some cases they take those and they wash them up and they make them really nice. No, I want the sweaty jersey right off the player's back, and that's the way that kind of stuff should go. So it's not like I'm going to wear the jersey. It's not like I'm going to sleep on this blue turf. It's perfect as it is.
Tater Tom saying, think about the resale value Genty played on this turf. I'm sure they're talking about that. Yeah, Genty's DNA is somewhere on that turf.
That's why that number 2 you said, that where they took off the 2 on the 20, that's why the 2 is going for like $5,000, because that 2 represents Ashton Genty on that turf.
I was surprised. A 6x4 foot. I mean, that's a pretty good chunk, 6x4 foot to hang on a wall or put somewhere with that number 2, and that was only $2,000. I actually thought that was a little low given Genty and the number 2.
Good point.
And then can they ship across what is the website? I wasn't trying to give them a 20-minute infomercial here, but is it collectbsu.com, I believe, is the site?
Yeah. Or you could probably just go to Collectible U, I think, or Collect U. And that steers you.
Looks like collectbsu.com is the site that they're listing in this story here.
Okay.
But yeah, I believe they are. There's, like I said, the smaller pieces are available. Those rings, I'm not sure the ring, how that's going to work, Prater. If you looked closely at that, where there's like a piece of the turf in the ring, I'm not sure how that would go. But if you want the smaller piece, and like I said, I think some of them have shadow boxes, and there's stuff about the history of it and all that. It doesn't last. I mean, this is a pretty cool one because of Genty and all that, Mike. But we've talked about it. This is the 7th edition in 40 years. Those early editions were around a lot longer. I mean, this was 2019, I believe. So you're getting 6 or 7 years of playing on this turf. But some of the older ones you probably had for 15 years or whatever before they swapped it out. But certainly to be able to say the 3 conference championships in a row, Genty, Shakir, Skinner. I mean, some of the guys that have Scott Matlock, that have certainly been a part of this, turf. It's certainly a cool thing that I'm sure they won't have a ton of trouble selling this.
No, I think it's really, really cool. So yeah, go check it out. You can find it all over the place, and it's a really cool deal. It's crazy. You said those things used to last 10 plus years. They don't make things like they used to. That's what they say. No matter what they're making. I remember when they used to do this, it was about $700,000 too. So the price of inflation now it's about 1.5. It's actually literally doubled in one cycle. I can't imagine what it's going to be like in another 7-8 years when it's going to cost over $2 million to replace the blue turf. And that was always the big issue with high schools that went with that. It's easy to raise $700,000 for one chunk of blue turf, all these high school fields around the valley, but how a school district can do that every few years, that's crazy. That's a big, expensive carpet, BJ.
And Ben saying, now Genty rarely went down on that turf. Very few patches of his DNA. The goal line patch from the Wazoo game would be a good one to have. And Prater, but also you're going from 10 years to now 5 or 6 or 7.
I know.
The shelf life has come so far down. And I mean, everybody watching this show certainly knows this, but that's literally why the turf is blue. That's literally why the turf is blue, because Gene Blameyer was tired of having to pay another $750,000 to replace the turf, and not a single person was going to know about it or see it or care about it, and they were just throwing $750,000 out the door to replace the turf for no reason. And he said, what can we do that would change that? And they changed it to blue, and the rest is history.
Great, one of the greatest marketing stories in the history of this country. So,
all right, I do want to get back to the actual team on the field, but I do want to thank a couple more sponsors real quick here, Mike. Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. We bought and sold our home with Matt. Tremendous service every step of the way. You can as well. 252-9877, BauscherRealEstate.com. Hey, Signature Roofing. Love Joel and those folks. So we got our roof from them last summer, and we were loving it. You can reach out to them at mysignatureroofing.com. They've been covering our community for more than 2 decades, one roof at a time. My friend Bob Barry just got a new roof from them, was very happy with the service there. Signature Roofing, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, or an inspection, check out mysignatureroofing.com. Same for the fencing company, Element Fencing, elementfencing.com, 631-2790. If you're on the fence about that fencing project, great craftsmanship, 25 years. They've been helping folks in the Treasure Valley build fencing projects from the ground up, whether it's cedar, wrought iron, vinyl. They can do decks, pergolas. Reach out to Element Fencing. Tell them you heard about it on BNN, folks. And if you have that repair, they repaired our fence a couple years ago at our old house, and it was made it look good as new. So Element Fencing online, elementfencing.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. Shopridleys.com is their website. Locations across the Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, McCall, other areas surrounding states as well. If you want that local grocery store that supports locals, employed with local employees, Ridley's Family Markets. We appreciate them. Check out shopridleys.com. And, of course, Andy Rowe, rowpaint.com. Hooked somebody up with them the other day. Actually, it was Bob Barry. Got the roof and then needed to match the siding with the roof. So got his painting redone at rowpaint.com. So we appreciate Andy and company. Rowpaint.com, interior, exterior paintings, those concrete coatings as well. Check them out at rowpaint.com. All right, Mike, as I mentioned, we're counting down 5 kind of final takeaways from the spring before we turn the attention to the summer. Number 5 on Monday, we talked about Matt Wagner being ready for a breakout season. Number 4, yesterday, the tackling looks vastly improved. And number 3 today, the passing game still has significant room for improvement. Which of those 3 would you like to tackle here in our remaining time?
Absolutely love Matt Wagner, and I think this dude's going to be a rock star. I kind of fell in love with him this summer. We did an event together, and an NIL event, and got to hang out with him for a couple of hours, and just I think he's really, really cool. And I think he's a bigger, better, stronger version than Matt Lauder, and I think that this dude with a big year could have a chance to go off to the NFL. I've kind of stupidly predicted that I think Matt Wagner is going to lead this team in catches. We'll see how it plays out. Is the tackling better? I'm not ready to go there yet because we won't know until we actually see it in game situations. I don't think it's fair to sit here and say the tackling is better. Now, what we saw in spring camp, did that get us excited? Hell yes. I thought it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in the history of covering Boise State football in spring camp, which many, many times storylines don't come out of spring. And in this particular case, Spencer Danielson, a young, aggressive-minded coach, really took a risk and went out there, and we saw it from day one, the first quarter of the first day of the first practice, and they were tackling all the way until the end of that scrimmage, that spring game, and they never wavered. They have 17 players out for the spring game, and because of past injuries, past medicals, whatever, and I don't think any of them are going to be issues for the fall. Maybe one offensive lineman, maybe Ben Ford from a previous injury. He got away with it, and I think it's beautiful, and I think it's really, really cool, and I expect them to be a much better tackling team this season because of what we saw in the spring, but we really won't know for sure until then. And then what was the one today? Today was
let's hold on to the tackling for one more minute because I did want to bring up one of the notes that is in the article today. We knew the tackling was bad, Mike Prater, but according to Pro Football Focus, there were 136 graded teams last year in the Pro Football Focus tackling numbers. 136 teams. Boise State finished 135th in tackling. They were literally the second worst tackling team in all of college football last year. They had a run defense, finished 120th in some of the analytics there. They had a bottom 5 defense in run explosive rate due to the tackling and the missed tackles there. So literally historically one of the worst tackling teams by the numbers in Boise State history, and the second worst tackling team in all of college football last year. We saw it, literally potentially cost them games. South Florida, they had some really bad missed tackles in the Notre Dame game at times. So, I mean, it literally was a huge problem. And as you said, they addressed it. I know he said it's going to continue. I will be curious in the fall. You just can't do it quite as much when you have to risk the injuries that close to that. But that's going to be one of the storylines for me, is all the time they put into tackling and how it pays off. But they saw a very, very glaring issue, and they spent all spring really focused on addressing it. And you got, again, ultimately we'll find out against Oregon and the rest of the season if it worked and if it's working. But on paper and just watching it, they saw an issue and they addressed it.
And I think it's brilliant, and I think it's going to work. Are they going to go from 135 to 25? Probably not. But if you could just improve that by 50% and get me in the top 75 or whatever, there's no way that it can't work, because it was brilliant. It was a brilliant idea, and it was brilliant execution. It's easy to say we're going to go into camp and we're going to be physical and we're going to get after it. And then after 3 days of watching film and going through 700 rolls of tape because your trainers are constantly busy, it's easy to back off a little bit. They never wavered, guys. They never wavered. And there are players that went down probably every couple of days with physical play. Again, I don't think any of it is going to impact these players when it comes to the fall camp and the season. So I think it was beautiful, and I fully expect it to be better. Now, that doesn't mean other issues can't crop up. I still think that run defense is – I'm a little bit worried about the defensive front. I'm a little bit worried about the physicality of the linebacker room. And I know we're going to talk about that a lot over this offseason and this summer, but the tackling, I scratched that off my list of concerns. I don't think it's going to be a concern this year. I think they tackled it head on with a brilliant idea, and I think it worked.
Well, one of the concerns that in number 3 today that Nathan Carroll wrote about was the passing game still has significant room for improvement. There was a lot of hype, me included, on the wide receivers, what we saw in spring, and some of the, maybe it's not as big of a concern, but I mean, Spencer Danielson said himself that Maddox Madsen needs to be more consistent. Maybe didn't have the best spring in some people's eyes that he has ever had, and in terms of throws on the field. And I know it's always a polarizing thing, Maddox, Madsen, whatever, but when you throw in the receivers, the passing game, we've talked for years about trying to throw the ball down the field more. Number 3 today is let's maybe take a little bit of a pause on that and say there's still a lot of work to do in the passing game.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I also think all the pieces are there, and that's what's really kind of exciting for me. Now, is Maddox Madsen all of a sudden going to pop out and be a great passer? No, and that's going to be the one limitation. Everything that Spencer Danielson and the offensive coaches have said about Maddox Madsen this year, they said last year. We need to be better vertical passing game. We need to be better stretching the field. Maddox Madsen, I need to be a better long passer. Are we going to see a little bit of that here and there? First of all, he's got to fix his accuracy, because his accuracy has become one of the biggest issues with this football team. So I don't care if he's throwing 5-yard dump offs to Matt Wagner or going 40 yards deep to Cam Bates. He's got to fix the accuracy issues, and that's unacceptable, and that's mandatory. Once they get the accuracy issues taken care of and they can get him settled in around 65% or maybe higher, hopefully, they can start working on this vertical game and taking advantage of some of the speed, taking advantage of some of these players. And I need to see it first. I need to see. I have a lot of concerns about the passing game, because Maddox Madsen didn't get brilliant overnight when it comes to being a great passer. The Rashawn Jones kid is going to be a superstar, and I think he's going to have a kind of a season where you're going to have to raise some money and try to keep him after this year's over, and hopefully you can keep him around for more than one season. But I also don't think he's going to be a superstar every Saturday. He's a young 18-year-old kid, and he's going to have one great Saturday and then a couple of crappy Saturdays. That's just the nature of the beast, especially with the quarterback you have right now. And I think that was one of the biggest frustrations with this football team last year. Come on. I mean, here's the poster boy for me last year. Latrell Capel spent his entire career at Boise State smiling. Beautiful man, beautiful football player, beautiful personality, and he had this big, brilliant smile on his face. He was so frustrated last year, and I think he carried the frustration for the entire wide receiver room, because the passing game wasn't working. It wasn't working with the tight ends. It wasn't working with wide receiver 1. It wasn't working with wide receiver 6. And it really became a frustrating part of that locker room and the DNA of that football team. And I don't think it's going to get significantly better, but I certainly expect it to be better. But I love the committee of the wide receiver room. I think there's going to be some fun things to play around with there. And I cannot wait to see how this turns out.
All right, we'll have two more, one tomorrow, one Friday at BroncoNationNews.com, looking at our 5 storylines. Then we'll have one more week, and then I think Monday the 19th we'll start looking at some individual players and count those down throughout the rest of the summer. Mike, kind of as we wrap this up, I know you're a history buff, and obviously you're a little older than me, but I saw sad news this morning with Ted Turner passing away.
Oh, really? I did not see that. Ted Turner was a big one for, well, I mean, you know, the WGNs and the Superstation out of Atlanta. I know WGN wasn't his in Chicago, but it was an era of the Superstation, and I was as big a baseball fan then as you are now, and I was running 4 or 5 fantasy leagues, getting box scores out of the newspapers, and really diving into that. And I kind of became because I grew up a Reds fan. I kind of became an anti-Braves guy because of the rivalry with the Reds, but there was always massive respect for Ted Turner and what he meant in the news industry. Obviously,
BNN, I believe. Right?
Yeah, 100%. He revolutionized and changed television news. And it was, at that time, it was spectacular and cool and important. And his relationship with Jane Fonda, his love affair for the state of Montana. And he probably passed away in Montana if I would think it happened the way it's supposed to happen. So, what a wonderful, crazy, wonderful life. And that's a sad one. Ted Turner, RIP, my friend.
Well, you mentioned you'll be talking about the Blue Turf Sale again today. What do we have coming up on a Wednesday edition of Idaho Sports Talk?
Yeah, we're going to talk to Jay Sharman, the CEO and founder of the Collectible U company that is doing the Blue Turf. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about a Boise State basketball roster, have some fun. But, tomorrow, I mean, we got a kind of a fun couple of days coming up. Lexus Williams is going to join us tomorrow. Khalil Shakir is going to join us tomorrow. We got Spencer Danielson on Monday. We got Jeremiah Dickey on Tuesday. Guys, and I think you got a lot of the same interviews too, BJ. So everybody's kind of making the rounds right now. And there is no off season in Boise, Idaho anymore. And that's a pretty cool thing for what we do for a living.
Yeah, we'll have Spencer next Wednesday on the show. Looking forward to that as well. Quickly, Drew Fielder, what'd you take from that interview? Folks can go back and listen to that. You had Drew Fielder on Idaho Sports Talk yesterday.
I love Drew Fielder. I loved him from the day I met him. And he's so honest and so pure and so genuine. I like his balance in life. He's a street cred gangster hooper, and that's all that matters in his life. But he's also big into mental health. He's big into outdoors. He's big into family. He's big into balance. And he just came on here, guys, yesterday and said, I'm not going to give you some kind of sugar-coated PR answer. I'm looking for my I'm looking for my best path to the NBA. And the style of system that Nate Oates runs at Alabama. He hired his 2 high school coaches and 2 of his younger coaches, his club coach when he was in California, to study Alabama's offense and equate it to how you can get to the NBA. In 2023, I think Alabama had 2 first-round draft picks. I don't think they've had a draft pick since then, so it's been 2 or 3 years since Nate Oates has had a draft pick coming out of Alabama, but he thinks that this is the style of offense that's going to get him to the NBA. He said it had absolutely nothing to do with money. Obviously, it came with money, whatever that money was, probably $1 million plus, somewhere between $1 million and $2 million bucks. And he's going there, though, for the path to the NBA. And he's always been very consistent with his answers. So I just think he's really cool. And I came away from my first interview with him during the season very, very impressed. Yesterday, he was very, very impressed. He's one of my favorite players of all time here, and I will wish him nothing but luck. And it's just too bad that Boise couldn't work it out. We know Boise's not cranking out NBA guys. We get it. That's not the role of what Leon Rice is supposed to do. So this was nobody's fault, and everybody's just looking out for themselves, and I think they should all be celebrated.
Yeah, no doubt. You can go back and listen to that on their podcast, on their website, various ways you can listen to Drew Fielder and all the previous interviews. Great stuff with him on Idaho Sports Talk yesterday. By the way, when I was bringing this in here, a little piece fell off. Somebody want to pay me a dollar for a thread or 2 here? What can I get? $5, maybe a cup of coffee?
No, what you do there, you take that little piece and then you sell it to the ring maker, the guy that's going to make the ring. That's how he's probably going to do it.
Okay.
You can turn that into like a $5,000 ring.
Yeah, that's a good point there. I wonder, or just maybe I'll run up and like touch it on Prater's arm, and then I can say it's got Prater's DNA. That might help with
No, that'll make the value go down, way down.
Well, Prater, appreciate you for switching to Wednesday. Hope you have a good rest of the week, and we'll be listening 3 to 6 every weekday here on KTIK. We'll look forward to catching up with you guys on Friday afternoon as usual. You got some great interviews coming up, so hope folks will stay locked into Idaho Sports Talk the rest of the week. we're looking forward to that next Prater column that'll be coming to Bronco Nation News as well. And appreciate you, Mike, and looking forward to a fun rest of the week. Thanks as always.
Appreciate you. You just answered my question. You're coming on the show on Friday, right? You're coming on Idaho Sports Talk?
I can't divulge yet because I can explain tomorrow why Friday there won't be a show in the morning. But yes, I can do Friday afternoon. Yes.
Looking forward to it. So it's always a good way to go into the weekend. Appreciate you juggling and appreciate it. We'll see you on Friday, bud.
Sounds good. Thanks, Prater.
See you, bud.
There he is, Mike Prater. Appreciate him for jumping on. Prater in the ball game again, 3 to 6. You can hear him weekdays 3 to 6. Prater in the ball game. They do a great job, and we are very happy and thankful for our partnership with KTIK. I did just confirm it looks like the newest member of the basketball team, the 6'9" big man, Kaur Tomann, is going to join us tomorrow. So we are hopefully going to have Kaur Tomann joining us tomorrow, and I'll try to get a better pronunciation of his name before tomorrow. But the plan as of now, hopefully tomorrow, we'll have the 18-year-old Estonian big man coming on the show. Boise State has not announced it yet, but he has committed, again, coming off an Achilles injury, but put up some nice numbers on the international stage. We'll see, ask him about his recovery from the Achilles injury, where he's at, what his goal is for playing time, why he chose Boise State, and we'll hopefully have him on the show tomorrow. Again, you can read a full breakdown. Nathan Carroll watched some film, put some numbers together. You can watch that and read that story right now at BroncoNationNews.com, or you can also read our story on the takeaways, but also on Jeremy Davis, a linebacker prospect from down there at Helix High, same school as Zeke Noah, if you remember him. There's some talk about another potential linebacker, Jeremy Davis from Helix High. He's interested in Boise State, and there's a story on him from Chris Van Sickle for subscribers at BNN. Again, 50% off right now, 50% off at BroncoNationNews.com. If you're thinking about subscribing, now is the time, and we hope you'll take advantage of that 50% off offer. Join us for like $5-6 a month. Bronco Nation News, get daily coverage throughout the summer, and if you buy for the year, you get that massive 50% off discount, and that gets you all the way through football and basketball season next year. You pay it now, don't have to think about it, and you get the best coverage around for the next year. And that includes, again, even on a, so to speak, a week or off season, a week where nothing's going on. We're already at, I think, 6 stories posted in the last, this week in terms of on a Wednesday. We're already at 6 stories posted this week for subscribers there at BNN. So BroncoNationNews.com, click the join VIP in the upper right-hand corner, 50% off. We hope you'll take advantage of that and help our efforts as we continue to expand and talk about coverage for next year and plans and wanting to continue to give you guys the coverage you deserve. So appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again, 9 a.m. tomorrow. John Mallory will join us. Hopefully the newest basketball commit will join us as well. And, yeah, make plans next Wednesday. Spencer Danielson live on BNN next Wednesday. Looking forward to that. We've locked that in. So we'll have Spencer Danielson answering your questions next Wednesday on Bronco Nation News. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to you guys subscribing. Speaking of subscribing, hit the subscribe here on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, switch over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, give us a quick like, folks, on your way out. It takes 2 seconds and helps us in the algorithms and all that. So like us, subscribe us. We'll see you in the message boards. Go chat. A lot of great discussion in the BNN message boards. We have the VIP board for paid subscribers. We have the free board if you're unable to afford a subscription. So get on there and chat throughout the day. It's a growing community of fans, and we're excited about where that's headed. So appreciate all of you for watching, for telling your friends, for subscribing, and we'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Bronco Nation News Live, Bronco Nation News from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Presentation of our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. Go check them out at lithiafordboise.com, and we'll see you at Bronco Nation News.